Hi there, my name is Denise Donlin, and you're in for a treat. We are about to interview an incredible woman with just a hugely talented career in costume and set design. So, first for me, I'm going to learn a lot. Everyone, Susan Benson.
Thank you.
There you go. So, last night in Rideau Hall, where you received your Governor General's Lifetime Achievement Award. I'm sure you've got more to do. But Mary Simon, how was the event for you last night? What did it feel like?
It was lovely. It was emotional. It was something I didn't expect at this point in my life.
Well, you know, one of the things you talked about, which I loved, is you gave gratitude to all the people. It takes a village, right?
Yes.
People, the unsung heroes in your
Oh,
profession.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there are so many artists, and you just see their name in small print at the back of the program, and you never know. Because as a designer, you give them the ideas, you give them drawings, but if they don't take off from them with their own artistry, they don't make anything, they don't mean anything, they don't create anything.
Yeah. Your career has been incredible. You've worked with the ballet, with the opera, a 31-year career with Stratford, starting a designer and then working all the way up till you were pretty well in charge of everything. And also working with some very strong artistic personalities, artistic
Yes.
directors, etc. How did you build confidence to be able to do that, to work as a team and yet still have your own visions about what you were producing?
I think because and I say this to young designers as well, don't try and start at the top. Work your way up from the bottom. A lot of people expect to come out of design school and be the designer. It doesn't do you any good in the long run. Build your house on rock, not on sand.
And when you came to Canada, I've heard you say that coming to Canada gave you courage to be who you wanted to be.
Yes, it
How did
did.
that work?
I had wonderful art training in Britain, and I wouldn't have missed my education. Coming to Canada meant it was sort of an opening to my life that I don't think I would have had in Britain. I was very shy, very nervous. Sometimes people don't believe me, but I was. I wasn't very good at selling myself or, for me to knock on a door and say, please give me a chance to design. And actually what happened in Canada was that I got passed on. I started off in Vancouver, and the people I work with in Vancouver passed me onwards, so I never had to go. I was lucky that I never had to go and knock on doors for work. But it was just a very fresh opening, fresh start.
I just want to read a description of your work, and so that everybody at home has an understanding. Here is what they said: Susan Benson has an uncanny ability to bring together a curatorial eye for historical detail, a painter's eye for contour and texture, and a compelling vision that synergizes the two to give a uniquely modern look to the productions with which she involves. So this is a lot right here. Can you take us through what someone in the role of a costume set designer does every day?
It encompasses so many things because you research, you read the script, you talk to the director, you do a lot of research, both visual and reading. You should do. Some people don't, but you should. And you then start to pull it together. And I don't think I could design nowadays because I couldn't do it on Zoom. I have to be in the same room as a director because you get vibes of people from being in that room that you wouldn't get through, as I say, doing it on Zoom or sending your designs or looking at them on a screen. It doesn't work. That's why nowadays I think a lot of people are having to do that, meet the director later on with that. When you look at work on the screen, it's not the same as seeing the real work. And it's not the same as being in a room with a director and you sense whether they really like or really understand what you're showing them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I know I could draw and paint very well. It was often detrimental because if they looked at a design and saw it just as a pure drawing and not what it actually was, that was a bit dangerous because then that's shocked when it comes to the actual thing on
Right,
stage.
yeah. But it's tactile too. Like I'm thinking about a dancer, for example. Like even the fabrics you're using has to be able to so that
Move.
they can move.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so they can inhabit their performance by virtue of what you've given them to wear.
I think design for dance is perhaps the hardest, and you shouldn't attempt to do it too soon because there are so many things to encompass the shape of the body, the fabric, the what they're trying to express.
Even the colors.
I did a silly thing, one of my first ballets for the National Ballet. Constance Batsalis did a ballet airy, and there was the bird images. And dancers are very good, actually. They can make costumes work. But I had these big wing-like sleeves, and of course, you put your arm up like this, and your whole face is masked.
Right.
So I've done some silly things. You live and you learn by your mistakes. I put masks on Summoning of Everyman at the third stage. Mark you, they were half masks, but when you've got singers, you really have to be a bit careful about their, how they project.
I would
so
expect so, yeah.
you experiment, you play, and you learn. But most performers, I mean, as I say, dancers are wonderful. They make most things work.
Or you work together with them until you do.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. When I'm sitting in the theater and I'm watching, a ballet or an opera or a play, I'm feeling the emotion, I'm trying to follow the script. But when you're sitting in the theater now with your perspective, what are you thinking about when that production is happening? Hard not to be judgy, I bet.
Yeah, you're not, you're, unless it's very, very good, you're judging. I hate to say it. If it's my work, I'm always looking and thinking, oh, I could have done this, I should have done that. And if it's somebody else's work, I'm thinking, they haven't got the balance of colours right, or what are they trying to express in that character? Because you're giving the audience information, you're telling a story through the costumes people are wearing and the world in the set that they're in.
Yeah. Do you ever send notes?
What to oh, no, I wouldn't do it. No, I have, if people have asked me, I've told them, but generally, no, I wouldn't.
You've worked with the greats, Maureen Forrester, Jessica Tandy, Hume Cronin, Maggie Smith. Are they different from us mere mortals?
The good ones are actually wonderful people, and they respect you in the same way you respect them, and they don't have egos, not as far as their relationship, certainly with me as a designer. And I was very lucky to work with those, very lucky.
When you think about, your trajectory as a woman in this role, not many women, costume and set designers, were there challenges that you had to overcome?
I've worked with directors that I'm very successful sets for, and yet I would go into a rehearsal hall with a male assistant, and something would come up about the rehearsal set, and the question would be addressed to my male assistant rather than to me.
Absolutely.
And sorry.
Yeah, been there, understand completely. And it is true, I think, the whole Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers thing, that the women did everything that Fred did, so that backwards and in high heels. You gotta work harder, jump higher.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's exhausting. Anyway.
It is. It is.
Final question for you, Susan. I know that you've taught and mentored lots of students. What must someone who wants a successful, a fulfilling career, let's say, in set and costume design, what must they understand about the work?
the audience. And I think it doesn't matter whether you're a designer or an actor, you're actually doing it for the audience. You're giving something to the audience. And if you, the person, and your work becomes more important than what you're conveying to the audience, I think you've got to think twice about going into that area, because it's funny, I believe in Russia, the performers clap the audience as well as the audience clapping. And I think we have to remember that sometimes. So it's all very well and good having airy-fairy ideas. And Robin Phillips was very good to work with.
Yeah.
The one that I designed quite a lot before I started the festival working with him. And the question he taught me was to ask why. And if you can't answer why, then you can't expect your audience to.
I understand.
And if the actor doesn't believe what they're doing, you shouldn't expect the audience to believe it either.
Why is one of the most powerful questions ever.
It is
It
a very
is.
important question.
It is. Well, our time has come, and I want to congratulate you once again. It was just a delight to meet you, and I wish you every success. I know you're painting again,
Yes.
and if you haven't seen it, Susan has a book out, so go get it and go through it. She is talented. She's just multi-talented.